Welcome to Global Byte. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Asia stands at a crossroads tonight, its cities alive with anticipation and uncertainty. Across the continent, the mood is shifting as nations grapple with the realities of a rapidly changing security landscape. The world is watching as new alliances are forged and old assumptions are challenged. In a move that has captured global attention, Japan is dispatching warships toward the Philippines. A decision that marks a dramatic escalation in regional security measures. This deployment is not just a routine exercise, it is a clear signal to both allies and rivals that the status quo is being redefined. This is not merely a show of force, it's a direct response to rising tensions with China, whose assertive actions in the South China Sea have unsettled the region. The Indo-Pacific is now the stage for a bold redefinition of alliances, as countries reconsider their roles and responsibilities in the face of growing uncertainty. Years of quiet diplomacy and careful negotiation have brought Japan, once known for its pacifist constitution, to the front lines of a new and complex confrontation. The nation's leaders are now faced with difficult choices, balancing the desire for peace with the need to protect national interests. The implications of these developments ripple far beyond military strategy. They touch every aspect of life in Asia, from the flow of goods through vital shipping lanes to the daily routines of millions who depend on stability for their livelihoods. The fragile balance of power is being tested, and the outcome will shape the region for generations. At stake is nothing less than the future of peace or conflict in the 21st century. Ordinary citizens, business leaders, and policymakers alike are watching events unfold with a mix of hope and apprehension, aware that the decisions made now will echo for decades. Tonight we break down the intricate web of agreements, the military maneuvers, and the high-stakes decisions shaping this crisis. We'll explore how nations are recalibrating their strategies and what these changes mean for the future of the Indo-Pacific. We'll hear from leading experts and analyze how this new era of militarization impacts everything from global supply chains to the everyday sense of security for millions of people. The ripple effects are already being felt in boardrooms, markets, and homes across the continent. This is a pivotal moment in modern history. Asia stands on the edge of a new and uncertain reality, where the choices made today will determine the path forward for an entire generation. On January 15, 2026, a historic moment unfolded in Manila as Japan and the Philippines came together to sign two landmark defense agreements. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, as leaders from both nations gathered to formalize a new era of cooperation. These agreements are not just pieces of paper, they represent a significant shift in the security landscape of the Indo-Pacific region. The first, known as the Acquisition and Cross-Servicing Agreement, or ACSA, allows both countries' armed forces to share vital supplies, fuel, and maintenance support during joint operations. This practical arrangement paves the way for seamless collaboration in times of crisis or conflict, ensuring that both militaries can operate side by side with greater efficiency and trust. It's a foundational step toward building a robust security partnership. Alongside the ACSA, a $6 million official security assistance package from Japan will fund the construction of new facilities for fast patrol boats in the Philippines. These modern facilities will not only house the vessels, but also provide advanced training and maintenance capabilities, significantly boosting the Philippines' ability to monitor and defend its maritime territory against external threats. These new pacts build upon the Reciprocal Access Agreement, or RAA, which was signed earlier and allows Japanese forces to deploy to the Philippines for joint exercises and humanitarian missions. The RAA has already facilitated closer ties, and now, with these additional agreements, the two countries are moving toward an unprecedented level of military integration. Together, these agreements are transforming the Japan-Philippines relationship into a deeply integrated quasi-alliance, one that is built on mutual trust, shared interests, and a common vision for regional stability. As a direct result, Japanese warships are now en route to the Philippines, preparing for the most significant joint military drills in the history of their partnership. These exercises will test new protocols, strengthen interoperability, and send a powerful signal to the region. This moment marks a definitive shift in Japan's post-war identity. For decades, Japan was known for its pacifist constitution and reluctance to project military power. Now it is stepping forward as a proactive security provider, ready to defend not only its own interests but also those of its allies. The message from Tokyo and Manila is unmistakable. Japan stands firmly with its allies, committed to upholding the international order and deterring aggression in a rapidly changing world. As these developments unfold, the entire region is watching closely, and so is the world. The stakes are high, and the next chapter in Asia's security story is being written right now. To grasp today's events, we must look back. Japan and the Philippines, once divided by the scars of World War II, spent decades apart. Japan bound by pacifism, the Philippines wary of military pacts, but China's rise changed everything, pushing both nations to set aside old animosities in favor of strategic necessity. Tensions over the Senkaku Islands and the South China Sea drew Tokyo and Manila closer, especially after President Marcos Jr. reversed his predecessor's pivot toward China. The result? A rapid acceleration of defense ties, culminating in the RAA, ACSA, and OSA. As China's assertiveness grows, so does the Japan-Philippines partnership, proof that history can yield to the demands of the present. The region's security landscape has been redrawn. Tensions are peaking on the water. Last week, US and Philippine forces held major naval drills near the contested Scarborough Shoal, joined by advanced American and Philippine warships and aircraft. China responded by sending a flotilla through the Miyako Strait, flexing its military muscle in the same operational theater. Beijing's rhetoric was swift, accusing Manila of destabilizing the region and condemning outside interference. Manila and Tokyo, however, presented a united front, emphasizing the defensive, legal nature of their cooperation. Philippine and Japanese officials reaffirmed their commitment to opposing unilateral changes by force. The message: this alliance is about upholding the rule of law, not provocation. The stakes and the risks have never been higher. The strategic map of East Asia has been redrawn. For years, China managed separate disputes in the East and South China Seas. Now Japan and the Philippines have erased that dividing line, creating a single integrated theater of operations. Any crisis near Taiwan or the Senkakus could now draw in forces from the Philippines, and vice versa, complicating China's calculations. This is the heart of the new One Cooperative Effort Among Nations network, linking Japan, the US, Australia, the Philippines, and South Korea. The Philippines' location makes it a linchpin, strengthening the first island chain and deterring Chinese expansion. Geography, alliances, and logistics now form a powerful new deterrent. Japan's military shift is sending shockwaves through Asia, shaking the region's political and economic foundations in ways not seen for decades. The country's decision to expand its defense capabilities marks a dramatic departure from its post-war pacifist stance, signaling a new era of assertiveness that is reverberating far beyond its borders. Politically, this is the most significant evolution in Japan's defense policy since World War II. While Japan's allies, especially the United States and some Western nations, have welcomed this move as a step toward regional stability, it has also raised deep concerns in Beijing and among other Asian powers. China views Japan's military buildup as a potential threat, fueling anxieties and diplomatic tensions across the region. Economically, the South China Sea is more than just a strategic waterway. It's a vital artery for global commerce. Every year, trillions of dollars in goods flow through these shipping lanes, connecting manufacturers, markets, and consumers worldwide. Any conflict or instability here could disrupt fragile supply chains, threaten energy supplies, and send shockwaves through the global economy. For Southeast Asian nations, the stakes are especially high. These countries now face difficult choices, as they are increasingly pressured to align with either the US-Japan bloc or with China. The region is becoming more polarized, and leaders must navigate a complex web of alliances and rivalries. ASEAN's unity, once a source of strength, is now under threat. If divisions deepen, Asia could fracture into competing blocs, undermining decades of cooperation and peace. On the global stage, these developments are testing America's resolve as a security guarantor in the Asia-Pacific. At the same time, they are encouraging middle powers like Japan, Australia, and South Korea to take on greater roles in maintaining regional security and stability. For China, Japan's new posture is a direct challenge to its ambitions for regional leadership and influence. Beijing is watching closely, weighing its options and considering how best to respond. How Beijing chooses to react, whether through military maneuvers, economic pressure, or diplomatic outreach, will have profound consequences for the future of Asia. The choices made now will shape the region's trajectory for years, if not decades, to come. Around the world, governments, businesses, and ordinary people are watching these developments unfold. The stakes are enormous, and the outcome will define the balance of power in Asia for a generation. Behind the headlines, ordinary people bear the brunt. Filipino fishermen face daily harassment and danger in contested waters, their livelihoods at risk. In Japan, the move away from pacifism sparks fierce debate about national identity and the cost of security. Across the region, rising nationalism narrows the path to peace, making compromise harder for leaders. The risk of conflict threatens not just soldiers, but millions of civilians. Lives, economies, and futures hang in the balance. The human cost of miscalculation would be catastrophic. This is the real price of geopolitical rivalry. Experts call this new one-theater strategy a calculated gamble. By uniting the East and South China Seas, the alliance complicates China's options and raises the cost of aggression. But the same integration increases the risk of escalation. A minor clash could now trigger a major conflict involving the world's largest economies. Japan's assertive stance, especially on Taiwan, has already provoked strong reactions from Beijing. The alliance must balance credible deterrence with clear communication to avoid miscalculation. The goal: deter aggression without cornering China into a dangerous response. It's a high-stakes balancing act, with no guarantees. The outcome will define the region's future. Why does this matter? Because Asia's new security order will shape the global future. Japan's military resurgence and its alliance with the Philippines challenge China's ambitions and end decades of predictable geopolitics, with rival navies operating in close quarters. The risk of accidental conflict is dangerously high, and the consequences would be global. Watch for Japan's parliament to ratify the ACSA, the scale of upcoming joint drills, and China's next moves. This is a test of alliances, a contest of wills, and a turning point for the world order. The choices made now will echo for generations. We'll keep bringing you the facts and context as this story unfolds. The world's eyes are on Asia, and the stakes could not be higher.